So given, you're talking about Bailey Power Plant and the remarkable transformation of this facility. I mean, you obviously were here when it was abandoned by Reynolds, cavernous, dark, dank, and obviously it was one of the situations where reclamation was probably more of a matter of how much money you could raise to spend on it, as much as a vision. But how did you feel like the facility got from that dark dankness to where it is now?
So when I first entered Bailey Power Plant, when we were contemplating whether we could accept that gift from Reynolds, it was a mothballed, coal-fired electric generation plant, steam generation plant. And it was filled with everything in the equipment vein that it takes to create steam and electricity. So those are huge furnaces that the coal would come in on trains in the back to the coal pit in the back, dump the coal into the bottom. The coal would be ground up into fine dust, burned by these huge engines, furnaces, and then energy and steam would go out. So the building was filled with pipes and scaffoldings and wires. The streets were filled with wires and steam pipes. So it was really a mothballed functioning power plant. So the problem with that is seeing past all the equipment. And it became apparent that most people who entered this building had a hard time seeing anything but the equipment. There was a lot of interesting things to see, and it took up all the light and space. So our first challenge was, how do we clean the building out? And we spent a good number of time trying to figure out how to do that in a way that not only was cost effective, but it left us with a shell that would be open to future developers' visions and dreams. The way we accomplished that was we engaged a company to come in who actually goes around the country decommissioning power plants. And we together came up with a means of taking all the valuable metal out of this building. And there, at that time, we were very lucky that metal prices were good. And we were able to take the revenue from all that metal and pay for a majority of the work in the cleaning out of the building, as well as recycle all the materials that were in here. So at the end of that, we had an OSHA safe shell, and I believe that was the time I met you here, you saw the empty shell. Even then, it was a challenge for the imagination. But that was where architects and dreamers came in, and we were able to bring in a lot of creative minds to come up with reuse, adaptive reuse for the space.